Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to teach you chapter 1, the purpose and nature of business activity. Okay, subsection, the first thing we're going to learn. Okay, I am going to put a line down there with the timestamps, so if you want to skip you can. Concepts of need, wants, scarcity and opportunity cost. This is what we're discussing at the moment right now. Okay, number one, let me define a need. Okay, a need is a good or essential services for living. Okay, so anything that you need to live. Okay, so for example, you need water, you need food. Okay, you cannot live without water, you cannot live without food. Okay, in the hierarchy of things, you might not even be able to live without a shelter. Okay, so these are needs, the basic human needs that you need to survive. Okay, so basically the basic definition of need, really. Now we come to the part of wants. Okay, wants is defined. The definition of wants is, a want is a good or services which people would like to have but which is not essential for living. People's wants are unlimited. Okay, so what is a want? Okay, let me define want, elaborate on wants. Okay, you might want a gold watch. Okay, you might need a Ferrari, you might need a BMW. Okay, but these are not your needs, these are your wants. Anything expensive, you want something expensive, you want, I don't know, if you want a car, you want a Ferrari. If you want a watch, you need a watch made of gold. Okay, but this is not exactly your need, you can live without it. Okay, so need is anything you need to live. Okay, and wants is anything, is basically luxury. Okay, anything that is, making your life more comfortable or maybe making you feel good is actually just a need. Okay, now what you have to understand about need is needs are unlimited. Okay, so I might want 50 cars. Do I need 50 cars? No, I don't. Okay, but I want 50 cars. I need BMWs and Ferraris and people lining up at my home for the cars and all, but this is not my need, this is my want. Okay, so want is always unlimited. I can want to go to the stars, for example, but I don't need to go to the stars to live. So basically, anything that is out of the ordinary and you don't need it to survive is a want. Okay, this is very important that you understand what a want is. Okay, everybody just gives you a definition and leaves it at that. Okay, that is not it. Okay, you need to understand this. Okay, so scarcity, basically, according to the dictionary, is the state of being scarce or in short supply. Okay, so if something is in short supply, for example, I'll give you an example on this. You go to the shop to buy a BMW. You want a 2020 BMW in black color. Okay, now let's say you go to the shop and you don't find a BMW 2020 in black color. Okay, now what happens is, whites are available. For example, the same model in white is available everywhere, and the black is not available because the black was in demand and everybody bought it. Now what happens is, this scarcity leads you to what is called opportunity cost. So when one thing is not available, okay, it leads you to a thing called opportunity cost. Now, what is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is, according to the dictionary, it is the loss of one other alternatives when one alternative is chosen. Okay, so for example, if you were to, according to our example, buy a white BMW of the same model that you were looking for, okay, the black BMW becomes your opportunity cost. Okay, to take an opportunity, this is your cost. Okay, so for example, whenever you make a decision, red or blue. Okay, so if you choose blue, the red becomes your opportunity cost. Okay, for example, you go to the shop and you want a mouse. Okay, you want a particular mouse, but you can't find that mouse. Okay, so the next best thing, you buy the next best thing, right? So when you buy the next best thing, that thing you were actually looking for becomes your opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is when you make a decision, okay, and you want something but you can't find it. Why you can't find that thing? Because of scarcity. Okay, because when everybody wants a single thing, okay, and you can't find it in the shop, okay, you buy the next best thing. For example, you go, I don't know, drink tea. Okay, you go to the shop to buy tea. Okay, tea is in short supply. You buy coffee, so tea becomes your opportunity cost. Or maybe you don't like coffee. Okay, so you go to buy tea, Lipton tea. You don't find Lipton tea, so you buy the next best thing. Okay, just to satisfy your needs or wants, for that matter. Okay, so hopefully you understand a couple of things. Number one, I am sure I was able to explain needs, wants, scarcity. Scarcity is basically when it just, short in supply, everything is short in supply kind of thing. And I was able to approach opportunity cost. You buy one thing, you want to buy something, you can't find that, so you buy the next best thing. That becomes your opportunity cost. Okay, now I want to explain to you in more detail scarcity and why opportunity cost. Why do you have opportunity? Why do you have to take opportunity cost into factor? Okay, because of scarcity. Okay, and why does it happen? Basically, it happens because of factors of production. Okay, there are 4 factors of production. Okay, this is not part, this is not written in the syllabus. Okay, but you still need to understand this to understand why we have to take opportunity costs, basically for factors of production. And number 1 is land. For opportunity, 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Okay, these are the 4 factors of production. Okay, because I'm explaining to you scarcity, right? So factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Okay, number 1, we come to land. Okay, this term is used to cover all of the natural resources provided by nature and includes fields and forest, oil, gas, metals, and other mineral resources. Okay, so land basically involves everything that comes from the land. Okay, so understand this point carefully. Land is not exactly just plain ground land. No, land is everything that comes naturally from the land. Okay, so for example, forest can only be grown on land, so it comes out of the land, so it is still counted as land. Okay, if you don't understand this point, okay, further, when we go further, this will be really difficult for you. So everything that comes out of the land is called land, even though if it is not land, it is still called land. So forest, trees come out of lands. Okay, there is no other way to grow trees. Okay, you need land. Okay, so forest becomes part of our classification land. Okay, then second comes oil, gas. Okay, oil, even though oil is not exactly land, okay, but it still comes out of the land, so it is still natural. Okay, so we'll still consider this as land. Okay, metals, okay, all the metals come out of the land. Okay, and they are natural resources, so it will still be classified as land. Minerals and resources that come naturally are called still land. Okay, so land is not exactly a piece of land that you buy or something. Land is everything that comes out of the nature that you need to produce something. Okay, so this is called land. So all this forest, oil, gas, metals, and other minerals are classified as land. Okay, now we come to labor. Okay, these are the number of people available to make products. Okay, so for example, I was to have, let's say, a full forest, okay, and I can cut the full forest and I can make, I don't know, I have maybe a furniture business and I can make a lot of furniture. I want to make a lot of furniture, okay, but there are only, let's say, I can only find, let's say, 5 or 10 people available in the whole market. Okay, maybe I'm living in a village or something. Okay, and there are not many people free available to me. Okay, so maybe not a lot of labor. Okay, so labor is basically people you need to get the thing done. Okay, for example, I need to make a building. Okay, I cannot make a building till I have labor. Okay, I was to run a factory. Okay, I cannot exactly run a factory. Maybe, for example, we have a pandemic going on. Okay, and everybody is locked down in their house. Okay, and I can't find labor. Now I am stuck. Okay, my factory cannot run without labor. So this becomes a limiting factor. Okay, machines can't do everything exactly. Machines can do most of the work. They can't do everything. You still need labor. Okay, so labor is basically people available in the market to make something. For example, you have land, you have natural resources, wood, but you cannot make furniture without labor. If everybody is locked down, there is no labor, there is no factory, there is no production. When there is no production, there is no product. When there is no product, there is scarcity. We are stuck and we cannot make anything. When we can't make anything, we can't do business activity. Okay, so business factors of production. Now we're going to talk about capital. This is the finance, machinery, and equipment needed to manufacture of goods. Okay, so for example, I was a factory owner, okay, and I, for some reason, got bankrupt or didn't have enough money or something. I will not be able to run my factory. So that is the financial part of it. Okay, and the second thing you need to understand is I need machinery to do my work. Okay, my furniture making business needs machines and equipment. Okay, any machine and equipment that is needed to make a furniture, okay, I need it, and that is counted as capital. Not only the money that I need to spend to buy the raw material to make the thing, I also need labor and machinery. So basically the second part, labor, okay, I need labor and I need machinery. Okay, laborers can't exactly cut wood by their hand, can they? They still need some equipment, some machinery. If I have an automated system, I still need the machinery, right? I need humans to control the machines, and I need factories, and I need companies, and I need machinery to run, make things. Okay, if I don't have machinery, and especially if I don't have finance to run that machinery, okay, then we are in trouble and we cannot do business activity. Okay, so that, my friend, is capital. Capital is finance, machinery, equipment needed to manufacture a good. If to make a table out of wood, you only need a chisel. Okay, so that chisel is your machinery, and more like equipment. Okay, and finance, I need to first buy the wood and make the table in order to sell it. So I need to invest money into my business to buy that wood, or maybe I can buy it on credit, but somebody needs to trust me, that somebody needs to trust that I have enough money to pay them back in order to even get a loan from somebody. Okay, so that, my friend, is capital. Finance and machinery needed to make something. Okay, enterprise. Now we are talking about enterprise. The definition of enterprise is, this is the skill and risk-taking ability of the person who brings the other resources or factors of production together to produce goods and services. Okay, so enterprise is the skill of a businessman, or the risk-taking ability of a businessman to bring the other three factors of production, land, labor, and capital together. Okay, so basically the wood is there and it has been there for, I don't know, thousands of years. Okay, the labor is there, the labor is unemployed, it is there, they are sitting. Okay, and the capital, the equipment and everything is there, right? it's available, okay, but you need somebody to bring all this together, okay, at one place to make a table, for example, okay, to make a car, to make a table, to make anything, you need to bring enough material from the land. So maybe you need minerals, maybe you need just wood. Maybe for wood, for table making business you mostly need wood, okay, so maybe I need wood from the land part, labor, somebody who is going to design it and carve it out, okay, capital, okay, I need money to buy my wood, I need chisels and all to make my to help the labor to make my table, okay, and I need enterprise to bring all of them together at one place, setting them a goal to do one thing, okay. And what does this guy do? Okay, this guy has skills, okay, this guy has entrepreneur skills to bring people together, okay. What does the labor care? If you make a table or you don't make a table, what do they care? They don't care, they just need their salary, okay. Now what you are doing is you're taking a risk, okay, because you're paying the guy to cut down the tree, then you're paying somebody to bring that tree to your factory, then you're paying somebody to carve it out, and you're paying for all the equipment and all the electricity and maybe food and maybe tea and maybe everything else, okay, just to get them to make a table, okay. Now after the table has been made, okay, this is the risk-taking part. The whole thing is the risk-taking part, that you have spent all this money to make a single piece of table, okay, and somebody now needs to buy the table, okay. There needs to be enough demand for the table to for somebody to come buy the table and then, you know, move on so you can make another table, okay. Obviously you do understand you're not just going to make one table. You know, when you employ everybody and you have equipment and shop and everything, you're not going to make one table. But obviously when you're making tables, you need somebody to actually come and buy the table. You don't just want to make the table and stack it up, okay. And then, for example, let's say you have 15 people working making a table. They make one table a day, okay, for example, one dining table a day, and then you have maybe an outlet and you're putting it there, and you know, nobody's buying it. Maybe your equipment, your material is not good, maybe your material is too good and your price is too high, maybe your price is too low, okay, people don't trust you, maybe you don't have, I don't know, you don't have trust with people, maybe your name doesn't carry any weight, okay. So what are you going to do with one table a day and not being able to sell it? Your shop is obviously a couple of square foots, right? 200, 300, 400,000 square foot, okay. You can keep limited amount of tables in there, okay. So your labor is making tables, okay, people are bringing you wood, your labor is making tables, okay, but there is no one to buy it. This is the risk-taking factor, okay, where you invest your money to make something, to bring all the land, labor and capital together, and then nobody wants to buy it from you. This is your risk. This is the risk you take when you make something. So this is the four things that lead to scarcity, okay. In any one country and in the world as a whole, these factors of production are limited in supply, okay. All these four factors are limited in supply. Obviously you do understand, for example, country is certain amount of square foots, okay. You don't have more square foots, okay. And then labors, obviously there are limited amount of human beings available, okay. Not everybody can do everything. A person who can carve a table, okay, cannot maybe cut a wood. Maybe he can, maybe he can't, okay. Maybe, you know, there is not enough money to go around, okay. Maybe you can't hire 15 people, okay, to do a single job which is needed. And maybe there is nobody to, maybe there are like one factory that makes tables, for example, okay. So look at, for example, if you were to buy a 50-inch television. You want a 50-inch television, and for some reason everybody in your country wants a 50-inch television, and you want LG television, Okay, and you cannot do without LG television. You need LG television in order to run your business, or I don't know, you just kind of need it, needs are unlimited. Okay, so everybody wants LG TV 50-inch. Believe me, they will run out of TVs. Okay, because a factory can only produce a certain amount of TVs, and when everybody in the country wants a single thing, they will not be able to produce so much of it suddenly. Anyway, but this never happens. You see, this is all theoretical. Okay, this is just to explain unlimited wants plus unlimited resources. Oh, sorry, unlimited wants plus limited resources is equal to scarcity. Okay, obviously this is all theoretical. Okay, this never actually happens. Means, for example, I want a BMW. Okay, but you don't exactly need a BMW. You need a Ferrari maybe. Okay, so this is all theoretical. Okay, and this obviously never comes into play. Okay, but to get you to understand the economical problem, I have to define in narrow terms. Okay, because I can't open it wide. But for example, not everybody needs a Samsung S8. Okay, many people need Samsung S8, but not everybody needs a Samsung S8. No, but not everybody wants to buy a Samsung S8. Or for example, an iPhone. Not everybody wants an iPhone. I definitely don't want an iPhone. Maybe you do. Okay, and that's all right. Okay, and this is the thing. You see, you want an iPhone, I want Samsung, somebody needs Hawaii, somebody needs something else. Okay, so Hawaii is making mobiles, Samsung's making mobiles, iPhone's making mobiles, everybody is making mobiles, and not everybody wants it. And even if everybody wants a Samsung S8, for example, or an iPhone, latest one, whichever is out right now, okay, companies can't produce so much. Okay, so as soon as everybody wants the same thing, okay, the needs cannot be satisfied. Okay, but as soon as the human factor, even if everybody wants an iPhone, most of the people cannot afford the latest iPhone. So this is a determining factor. Okay, so everybody wants iPhone. I don't know which one is new. I'm sure you do. Okay, something iPhone X maybe. Everybody wants iPhone X. Every single person wants iPhone X, but the price determines who can buy and who cannot buy iPhone X, for example. Okay, so maybe you earn a lot of money and you want iPhone X, and you can buy iPhone X, no problems. Okay, but not everybody wants iPhone X. If everybody wants iPhone X, not everybody can afford iPhone X. You see, so this is the real world. Okay, but when you narrow it down, okay, you go like unlimited wants plus limited resources gets scarcity. So hopefully you understand this part. Now we come to the importance of specialization. Okay, specialization is the best use of limited resources. In all societies, the factor of production are limited supply, and therefore important to use these resources in the most efficient way possible. Okay, so what is specialization? Specialization occurs when people and businesses concentrate on what they are best at. Okay, for example, look at your car, for example, right? Car is not made at one place, right? Okay, so the glass is made at the glass factory. Okay, the tires are made at the tire factory, and the metal casing, the body, is made at a different place. The steering is made at the different place, engine is made at the different place. So basically what you do is you kind of divide it into sectors. Okay, so car is made out of hundreds of sectors. You have no idea, because if a company was making the tires and making the glass and making everything, they will never be able to complete everything. Okay, so one company is making glass for the model of the car that is being produced. One company is making the tire for the model of the car that is being produced. One, I don't know, making frame Okay, and basically what the car company does is bring them all together and assemble them. Okay, so imagine your car and imagine how many parts it comes in. Imagine your mobile, okay, the mobile you're watching this on. Okay, imagine the screen, okay, is most likely made by Samsung. Okay, not many people make screens. Samsung makes most of the screens. Even iPhones screens are made by Samsung. Okay, Samsung is specialized in making Gorilla 3 or Gorilla 5, whichever is going on nowadays. And the memory is again made by Samsung, a different form of different place, a different company, a different factory of Samsung makes only memory chips. Does not make any other memory. You know, the memory in the mobile, 32 GB, 128 GB, whatever, is only made by Samsung. Samsung has a monopoly on memory making. Okay, and you see the PCB is made somewhere else, the speakers are made somewhere else, the cameras are made by somebody else. You usually see Carl's S on lenses. Usually that is made by Carl's S, obviously put into different mobiles, and different mobiles assemble them together and to make something. Now we talk about specialization and the division of labor. Why do we need a specialization and division of labor? We need specialization to the best use of limited resources. We need to do the best use of limited resources, right? So what do? We divide labor. Okay, what is division of labor? Division of labor is when the production process is split into different tasks and each worker performs one of these tasks. It is a form of specialization. Okay, so for example, there is a case study in the book, you might have looked at it. This guy, he brings wood, he cuts up the wood, he assembles the table, he polishes a table by hand, and then he delivers by maybe a cart. Okay, he does everything, including cutting wood, making it, delivering it, everything. He does everything by himself. Okay, what is the loss in doing everything yourself? The first advantage is that, you know, the cost is very less. Okay, he doesn't have to pay anybody. Okay, the disadvantage is obviously he can make a table a week. Okay, he cannot make more than one table a week. The production is very low compared to, for example, 20 people cutting on specialized machines. So for example, 20 people are standing and cutting on specialized machines. Okay, that would make the cutting process faster. Okay, and then you have a couple of carpenters. Okay, basically what it is, the cutting people, okay, just know how to cut wood. Okay, they don't know anything else. Okay, they just know how to operate that machine and cut wood. So they'll keep cutting wood all day long. Okay, that is division of labor. Okay, so division of labor is when the production process is split into different tasks and each worker performs one of these tasks in the form of specialization. So for example, you have 20 machines and you have one worker on each machine cutting wood. Okay, so you have made the cutting process separate. So let's say you have 20 machines. So for example, you have a couple of machines. Okay, and these machines are used to cut wood. Okay, for example, you have like 10 machines, you have 2 workers on each machine. Okay, so 10 machines, 2 workers on each machine, this makes 20 workers, and these workers' job is only to cut wood in different styles and different shapes and different forms, and they don't know how to make a table, but they know how to cut the wood. Okay, so this is dividing the labor. You're putting certain number of people to cut wood, for example. Okay, then you put carpenters on assembling the table. Okay, so these people don't know how to cut wood, yet they still know how to assemble a table. Okay, so the cutting guys would cut the wood, the assembling guys would assemble. Okay, you need polishers. Okay, then you put a separate polishing station where every table after it's been assembled goes to those people. They polish the table, finish the table, as to say, and then you need a transport business. You maybe outsources, or maybe you hire a van and this guy delivers the tables from your factory to the people who need the table, or maybe who ordered the table, or something like that. Okay, so what you did, you just divided the work. Okay, that way you cannot make one table a week, you can make one table an hour. Okay, the cutting guy would do his job, the assembling guy would do his job, the polishing guy would do his job, and the transport guy would do his job. This is specialization, division of labor. You divide labors into doing separate stuff. So for example, if you were to buy if you were to get 10 people and give 10 people 10 tables to make, they will make one table a week. Okay, it'll take time. They have to cut wood, they have to make the wood, they have to polish the wood, they have to transport the wood. Okay, so if you were to put 10 people on separate stations, okay, one to cut the wood, one to assemble the table, one to polish the table, one to transport the table. Okay, this way you can make your work go faster. The faster they can cut the wood, okay, the faster they can assemble the table, the faster they can polish the table, and the faster you can get it out of your factory and earn that sweet cash. Okay, so this is called division of labor, getting labor to do a certain job, a certain part of the job, in order to speed up the work and in order to get the work done properly. Now, there are certain advantages and certain disadvantages to this sort of division of labor or specialization. Okay, workers are trained in one task and specialized in this. This increase efficiency and output. Okay, so you have to understand the worker are only trained to do this one specific job. For example, one guy is to cut the wood, so he only knows how to cut the wood, he doesn't know how to polish the wood, he doesn't know anything else, he just trained in one thing, how to use this machine, this specific machine, okay, to cut wood. He does not know anything else, he doesn't need to know anything else, he just needs to do this one thing, okay, in order for the grand plan to work. Okay, this increases efficiency. So this is the advantage. Okay, less time is wasted moving from one bench to another. Okay, so he needs to do just one task, and he has all the tools and equipments of that task sitting at one place, so he just needs to do this one thing. Okay, so this is the advantage. He doesn't need to move from one station to another station to another station, because he'll just cut the wood and pass it on. Okay, and the other guy is responsible for the rest of it. Okay, now with advantages, everything has disadvantages. Okay, what is the disadvantage of this kind of division of labor? Okay, workers can become bored doing just one job. Efficiency of the worker might fall. Okay, so for example, a guy is cutting wood, and he's cutting wood from day to night. Okay, he gets bored, right? For example, if you were to do one repeated task all day long, for example, your job is to maybe hammer 4 nails in a table. Okay, and then the guy who assembles it gives it to you, and you just hammer four nails, and that's it, your job is done. This is specialization. Okay, you only know how to hammer those 4 nails, you don't know how to cut, you don't know how to assemble. Okay, all you know is you need to hammer 4 nails. Okay, so this gets boring, because all you're doing all day long is just hammering 4 nails to the table every day, every hour of the day. So this gets really boring. Okay, because you're just doing one thing over and over again. So efficiency might fall, because a person might just get bored. There is not much he can do, he can just do one thing. Okay, and the second thing, the disadvantage is, if one worker is absent and no one else can do his job, production might be stopped. Okay, so this guy, for example, you have only one cutting machine and you have only one guy at this cutting machine, and he is cutting wood for you. Okay, and he gets sick. So the guy who wants to assemble the table does not have cut wood to assemble the table. The guy who wants to polish the table does not have wood or assemble the table to polish the table. And the guy who wants to deliver the table cannot do his job. Okay, so the whole line stops. So the whole production stops because only one guy knows how to do this one particular task and he is absent, for example. So this is a disadvantage of specialization. So the third part is the purpose of business activity. Okay, the book says we have identified, and I hopefully I have explained that people have unlimited wants. Okay, they want a lot of things. They cannot exactly get a lot of things financially, or maybe they're not available and stuff like that. So people have unlimited wants. There are four factors of production which are in limited supply, mind you. Okay, scarcity results in limited resources and unlimited wants. Choice is necessary when resources are scarce. Specialization improves the efficiency and the use of resources. But business, why have business activity at all? Okay, we need business activity to make something. Okay, imagine, for example, you're sitting on a table and a chair and you have a laptop next to you, or maybe you're watching this on a mobile lying down on your bed. Okay, somebody needs to make that bed, somebody needs to make that laptop, somebody needs to make that table that you're sitting on, the chair you're sitting on, somebody needs to make it. Okay, if nobody makes it, okay, then you can't get it, you can't buy it. Okay, and if you can't buy it, you probably have to make it yourself. Okay, that is not a very nice thing to do, is it? Are you going to concentrate on business studies, or are you going to make your table and chairs? Okay, so the second thing is they employ thousands and thousands of people. Okay, for example, wherever you live, look around you. Okay, you'll have thousands and thousands of people employed in companies, factories and all. They the businesses bring people together, and obviously when they bring them together and make them do certain amount of work, they get something out of it. Okay, they make something, they sell that something, and they get value. They get more money. For example, the cost of production plus obviously the profit. Okay, so this is why we need to have business activity. We need to have business activity to combine factors of production to make goods and services which satisfy people's wants. Okay, so this is why we need business activity. And mind you, the businesses, the private sector, okay, is mostly concentrated on your wants and not exactly your needs. The needs is usually controlled by government, but that's on a different chapter. Okay, now we are talking about the last part of this chapter, which is called the concept of adding value and how added value can be increased. Okay, so now don't confuse yourself. Okay, adding value is not the same as profit. Okay, get that out of your mind. Okay, profit is something else, added value is completely different. Okay, for example, okay, we'll take an example from the book. When you buy something, right, for example, to make a car, okay, you have to buy certain materials, glass, metal, tires, everything else that is needed. I don't know what is needed to make a car, engines and exhaust fans and all this and that. So when you buy all these lot, okay, like let's say for example, everything that you buy costs you $3,000. $3,000, this is the cost of the material used to make a car. Okay, so when you buy these things, okay, this will cost this is the original cost of the materials. Okay, now what you did, you put this $3,000 together in a certain shape. Okay, now for example, metal by itself is no good. Okay, what are you going to do with a piece of metal? Okay, no good. Okay, what are you going to do with a piece of rubber? It is no good. Okay, it's no value to anybody really. And what are you going to do with a piece of glass? Nothing really. Glass is glass. Okay, now what do is you carve it into something and you make a car out of it. Okay, engine by itself is no good to anybody. When you put it in a car, it's used for transport. Okay, so what you do is you buy these raw material. So as soon as you have these raw materials, you shape them And now, for example, you bought this raw material for 3,000 pounds, everything combined, plastic, glass, metal, everything that goes inside a car, seats and steerings and decorations and decks and speakers and all, everything cost you $3,000. Okay, now you sell your car at $10,000. Okay, this $10,000, okay, $10,000 is your selling price. Okay, so what happens is $10,000 minus $3,000 is equal to value added. So value added would be around $7,000. Okay, so $7,000 is becomes your added value. So basically, you pick up scraps, mold them into a shape, and sell it to people. And that now that you've molded into a shape, okay, and now you have added value to those scraps, and you've made something out of it. And now that you bought the raw material for 3,000, now you're selling it for 10,000, and you know that 7,000 in between, the 7,000 extra that you have created value. So you have added value. Okay, so you've just created a value out of nowhere, out of thin air, really. When you put the thing together, you have created value, and now you have added value. Okay, so this is the definition of adding value. Adding value is not profit. Okay, understand this. Adding value is not the profit you earned on the. Adding value does not consider staff wages. Adding value does not consider rent. Adding value does not consider electricity bills, for example. Okay, added value simply means you bought this raw material for this much, you made it into something, and you just added value onto that thing. Okay, so this is called adding value. Very simple. Okay, so don't get this confused with profit. Profit is after you paid the wages, because after adding, for example, you bought the raw material for 3,000, you sold it for 10,000, you made 7,000 on top. Okay, please do remember, you still have to pay the electricity bills, you still have to pay the wages, you still have to pay the rent, you still have to pay stuff, right? Taxes and God knows and what and what not. Okay, so value added is simply, it does not add anything. Okay, value added is simply you bought the raw material for this much, you sold it for this much. Okay, so you just added value. Okay, so profit is when you take into account how much wages I paid, how much rent I paid, how much, then you calculate profit. But right now we are only talking about added value. Okay, I'll put a little graph and let me explain this graph. You buy this material. Okay, after buying this material, you sold this stuff, you made something out of it, and you sold it for this much. Okay, this much on top is added value. Okay, you are adding value to that scrap. Okay, you're adding this much value. Okay, so all the things you bought to make a car, after you made the car, you sold it for this much. This on top is value. Okay, so hopefully I was able to explain to you adding a value. There is an example in the book which says the selling price of a newly built house is $100,000. The value of the bought bricks, cement, woods, and other material is $15,000. The added value of the building firm was $85,000. This is not profit. Out of this, the builder must pay wages and other costs. So $85,000 becomes the value added. Okay, yet the value added does not take into account everything else that you need to pay, your bills and your stuff. And very important, adding value is not profit. Okay, adding value is when you buy something, you make it into something and you sell it for more money. So whatever more money you sell it for, that is adding value. Does not take into consideration your time, your workers, your wages, your rent, your food. the maybe the drink you drank while you were tired and you were making this thing, maybe the cigarette you smoked while you got tired and you smoked a cigarette in order to do your job, because you're specialized and you're really tired and stuff. So it does not take into account all this, and therefore adding value is something else, profit is something else. Okay, so this is let me explain you the flip side of adding value. Let's say you want to make this screwdriver. Okay, it's made of metal and plastic, not much to it, just molded plastic and metal. Okay, you bought this material, the material you put on it cost you $2. Okay, so you want to sell this now. Okay, you want to sell this for $10. Okay, you bought it for $2, you want to sell it for $10. However, you see the company name. Okay, the company name is not recognized. Okay, people don't recognize your company name. So if you add too much value, okay, this will lead to another problem, which is called lower sales and lower profits. Okay, so for example, you made 10,000 of these. Okay, and you want to sell each for $10. However, it only cost you $2 for the raw material. Okay, and you add too much value on top. Okay, this will lower your profits because people will not buy it. Okay, unless you have a very nice, this is where the brand name comes in. Okay, this is where I specialize. I have a PhD in brand management. Okay, so this is where the brand name comes in. If this screwdriver was made by Philips, for example, or made by an expensive company, maybe Tesla made this screwdriver, you can sell it for 20 and people would buy it. Okay, because they recognize the company. However, if it's a cheap Chinese company, as you can see, it is a cheap Chinese company, you cannot sell this for £10, $10, whatever, 10 something, 10 units of money. Okay, because people do not recognize you, and for some businesses it is very hard to add too much value to their product. Okay, iPhones, okay, add too much value to their products, but people recognize iPhone. Okay, iPhone is a brand. This is where the brand comes in. Okay, they can charge more money for the same thing. Okay, because they are well recognized and they can do this. Okay, for example, if a cheap company was, I don't know, a new mobile company was to come and make almost the same mobile as iPhone, even the design, even the color and everything, and not put iPhone on top, okay, they cannot sell for as much as the iPhone. Okay, with having the same technology and stuff, they cannot add that much value to the same products and the same specification and same thing. They cannot add that much value because iPhone is a brand and people recognize brands and they're able to pay more money. Okay, so this will lower your sales. Okay, so if you make screwdrivers, you want to get them out of the door as soon as possible. You want people to buy them and demand more so that you can make more and make more profit out of it. Okay, but as long as you don't have a brand, okay, people will not be buying your thing for too much price. Okay, and if nobody buys your stuff, okay, you will have lower sales there, therefore lower profit. Because you see, if you can produce 10 screwdrivers a day and you can only sell 2 screwdrivers a day, you will be stacking up screwdrivers in your factory, and labor still wants their wages, and electricity still wants their bills to be paid, and everybody still wants the money. Okay, you are not kind of just like I'm stacking screwdrivers and I can get away with it. You can't. Okay, so that will lower your profits. Okay, if people don't want to buy your thing, you've added too much value. So this is the sweet spot. You have to keep it at the sweet spot where people buy your stuff. Okay, but you have to add as much value on top as you can, not as you want, no, as you can. Okay, that's why you have market researches and everything. Will you buy this for $10? Okay, somebody would say yes, I would buy it. Somebody would say no, I won't buy it for $10. Definitely not. I'll buy it for 3. I'll buy it for 4. I won't buy it for 10. So you have to do market research in order to find out exactly how much value can you add on a product. Okay, so if you have 2 screwdrivers selling a day and you can make 10 screwdrivers a day, you'll be having 8 screwdrivers sitting at your home, at your factory every day. Okay. However, labor still wants their cost, the company still wants their rent, the place still wants their rent, the electricity bill, and the tax, and you still have to pay the tax and everything, and you can't get them out of your door fast enough. Okay, you will be losing on profits. Okay, the faster you can get them out of your door, if this cost you $2 to make, okay, and obviously you have to pay your labor, so maybe $3 or $4 is fair enough. Okay, you can add a bit of value. Okay, because obviously you don't have brand and all, so you can add a bit of value, but you can't add too much value. Okay, otherwise you will lose profits. Hopefully I was able to explain added value to you considerably. Now the last point that I want to discuss, and I will end the video after this, okay, is how do you add value to your product? Okay, it's not very simple. Okay, you can add value. Okay, for example, you can add value by offering after sale services. Okay, so for example, the screwdriver is still for $10. Okay, and people don't want to buy it. Okay, so what you do is you offer after sale services. Okay, you offer maybe to engrave some person's name in here. Okay, let's not talk about screwdriver, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about Argos, for example. Okay, Argos, if you were to go to Argos and they have a 17 days return policy, you would much more likely to buy from Argos. And if you decide that you're not happy with the product, you can return it in 17 days, which is good enough, I suppose. Last time I checked, it was 17 days. I don't know about the current thing, so check it yourself. So this is how you add value. Maybe you're still selling the thing a bit expensive. Okay, for example, people are ready to buy it in £9, but they're not ready to buy it in £10. Okay, but then you offer an excellent after sale services. Okay, for example, maybe you sell jewelry, okay, and then you say we will engrave your name on top of the jewelry, and you go like, okay, I like that. I like to engrave my name and then have the return policy and all. There are many ways to add value to your product. Okay, I'll leave you with this. Okay, this has covered business activity. Number 1, the purpose and nature of business activity. Okay, hopefully you've understand most of it. Okay, if you haven't understood, there's always a chat. There's always an option to comment. Okay, ask me about a particular thing. I will make a video about it. Believe me, I do. Okay, I'm not just saying it. I will make it for you, especially if I have to. Okay, just drop a comment. Okay, and I will try my best to answer your question. Hopefully I've explained the purpose and the nature of business activity, all 4 points of it: concepts, needs, wants, scarcity and opportunity cost, importance of specialization, purpose of business activity, the concept of adding value, and how value is added. There are many ways to add value, and there we are. Have a nice day. Best of luck for your exams. Hope to see you in 1.2 classification of business. This is your host Mohsin Bukhari signing off.